All right. Well, we are down here in Santa Clara. Welcome to the Damon Brew Show, an abbreviated Damon Brew Show coming to you live from Levi Stadium, where we just got to say hello to Robert Salah, Kubiak, the offensive coordinator, and Brant Boyer, who was really impressive in his first go around with the media here down in Santa Clara. Look, I don't come down to these things very often. I really wanted to come down here and meet a bunch of the rookies. We wore a little IU for the Rooks. You know, we got two Hoosier rookies down here, so I thought I'd try to make everyone comfortable. But they're running late today in terms of meetings that they're in right now or whatever they're doing with their coaches. So the only thing that runs on time around an NFL team is actual game day, where they're forced to be on time. Everything else runs slower when it's not actually game day. So everything's gotten delayed. I would normally be outside in the lower bowl doing this little video and recap, but there is a ton of construction going on in Levi Stadium. Not a blade of grass can be found. The whole thing has been turned over. It is a complete dirt field, which they're like laying a new boundary for the actual football field, but it looks like they're extending that to the walk around the field part. And I don't know if that's like World Cup preparation. I can tell you it looks like they're framing brand new video boards. There is a massive amount of construction. I'll even pick up the actual phone and walk out to where we're not supposed to be in a little while so you can see it. But let me just tell you about real quick impressions today of the 49ers. Yeah, E. Scott Burns. Are they fixing the sun problem? No, they are. There's no fix around the sun the way that they built this stadium. But anyways, look, we're not here to dump on Levi Stadium. But I am here to tell you that I couldn't stick around for player interviews because I have to come back to San Francisco to get the kids. And unfortunately, that's an hour north of me, which means I got to leave soon. But anyways, why are you here? You're here to hear about the 49ers. Let me just jump in on Brant Boyer, who is the new special teams coordinator, who is an impressive guy. Absolutely an impressive guy. And I asked him straight up, based on the film that you watched, what was the biggest problem last year with special teams? He just said they got to go hit somebody. You got to want it more than the next guy. It's a you or me business, and you got to choose yourself. And, I know that that's a lot of tough coach speak, but I liked it, and I ate it right up. You could tell that this guy is a true believer of what he has been brought in to do, and that's improve on special teams. A really good question was asked of him, what is it going to be like to come into a situation where the head coach has already said something. Maybe it was misinterpreted, but Kyle Shanahan in the past has said, he's just here to not lose games on special teams. He's not trying to win games on special teams. And it's ironic how often they lost games on special teams when that was the goal, to not just do it. Now, whether Kyle was overstating the simplicity of how he wanted to really think about it or not, Boyer just said, hey, man, I'm here to do a job. My job is to make these guys better in this area. And there's really nowhere to go but up. Asked about Jake Moody, who, of course, is always asked about when it comes to 49ers special teams. It really does sound like, he is going to get an opportunity to keep this job. And that when Moody was in the draft, the one thing that every single special teams coordinator could agree on was that he was the number one guy on the board. So obviously a couple of difficult years for Moody. But he has made some big kicks. He's missed some big kicks too. We all know it, but it's not a young man that they're going to be giving up on anytime soon. Now, another camp leg to brought in to push him. Yeah, that's going to happen. But I would be stunned if they didn't have Jake Moody on their roster come week one. I would be really, really surprised by that, just based on what we heard out of Boyer today. Robert Salah. Robert Salah's head is shinier than the last time we saw him. Maybe that's what you do. You get extra head wax polish when you start making, I used to be a head coach money. He is thrilled to be back in a situation that he clearly admired when he was here, and then probably even started to admire more from afar when he was with the always dysfunctional New York Jets. Robert Salah is fired up to be back. There is no doubt about that. He is ready to come here and do damage. He is excited about the group of rookies. It was asked, hey, part of your return, Robert, was it you going to be able to basically run this draft? And he chuckled and he said, look, there were times where the Niners were about to make an offensive choice in the draft, but in just the picks before they came up on the clock, the player that they were targeting was gone. And so he said that he was more than happy to be the guy back in the room saying, I've got an idea. How about this guy? And so, first 5 players of the draft being defensive players is something that obviously was great for Robert Salah. He is very, very excited. He talked a little bit about, I think it was Dave Lombardi who asked a question about how he, for a while, looking to mirror the Legion of Boom, which is where he grew up, coaching defense. If he still believed in the big corner, Richard Sherman, 6 foot to 6'3" corner, sort of being the leader of and he said no, that they have absolutely sort of reconstructed what they believe is the ideal cornerback, and the undersized player is something that Robert Saleh is not afraid of in his secondary, and I think in his linebacking core as well. But up front, there's an awful lot of beef to be offered. I really wanted to see Albert Collins in person. Didn't get the chance to do that. Unfortunately, no practice available for the media today. I thought we were going to be able to go out and watch them a little bit on the field, but that is going to be tomorrow's session, and I'm not going to be able to make it down here tomorrow. So not going to be able to see any of the guys out there, but hopefully have gone ahead and rearranged through the back door an interview with CJ West coming up and Curtis Rourke. I mean, I even wore the Indiana colors down here today. I wanted to make guys comfortable. So I am excited that there are 2 Hoosiers on the 49ers for sure. But I think you need to be really excited about CJ West, even if you went to Purdue. This kid, I think, is going to be your favorite member of this rookie class, and it's going to happen quickly. I just think the way that he and Alfred Collins are going to play off of each other. Did I call him Albert earlier? Pardon me. Alfred Collins. These 2 guys were the primary focus of offenses that were playing against them. Now, both guys has the other guy to take the heat off them a little, and I think that the 2 of them together are just going to wreck an awful lot of shop coming up for the San Francisco 49ers. So I'm excited about that. Let's see. Clay Kubiak, he talked about the opportunity to call some plays last year. He did it in the preseason. He did it in week 18. He was asked about his family name, maybe setting up more of an expectation for him. Obviously, his dad has been an NFL coach, and he said, look, learning from his dad was an honor and a privilege that he understood, made his situation unique. But, he tried to dismiss the notion of like the last name means he has more to prove or anything like that. Everybody in this building has something to prove each and every day. And that is heard in the Robert Saleh moment with the media. That was heard in Brant Boyer, and Kubiak said it too. And, one of the things that we talked about last year, what we wanted was more accountability and more urgency. People had gotten a little too comfortable around the San Francisco 49ers. And you can see early on that there is no element of you are comfortable here that is going to be extended to anybody. And if you are worried about maybe the money that wasn't spent on free agents and undrafted free agents and before or after the draft, or if you're worried about tightening of purse strings in any way, let me tell you, just the attitude from the 3 coaches that we got to meet with today, I think makes up for that. And it seems like everybody really knows that it is a reprove to Jed York why you are here. And I think that extends to Kyle Shanahan. I think that extends to every single element of the San Francisco 49ers. Asked about if Ricky Pearsall, would be considered for that starting role while Brandon Ayuk is out. Asked for like a Brandon Ayuk timetable. Kubiak didn't really have one, but he says the reasons why they went out and drafted Ricky and the reason why they love Juwan Jennings is because both those guys think they're number 1 NFL wide receivers, whether they are or aren't, but they believe it. And it's that kind of belief and that kind of work ethic and that kind of just relentlessness that should carry the 49ers through the lack of star power that you might be seeing at wide receiver. They also talked about Christian McCaffrey and how Christian McCaffrey is hard to say no to when he's out on the field. He doesn't want to come off the field, but they know that they have a bigger job and a bigger workload to manage this year than in previous years. And they're going to have to be more disciplined by getting McCaffrey off the field, whether he wants to be taken off the field or not. The player can't be in charge of that. And the coaches are going to have to be cognizant of how much they're actually using that guy throughout the regular season. But McCaffrey apparently at this point is all systems ready to go and is chomping at the bit to get back to it. And that is a good thing because I really think that he's become a forgotten man. And in a video that I'm going to be doing a little bit later, responding to, I guess Colin Cowherd has picked the 49ers last in the NFC West. Yeah, we need to make a bet on that right now. I'm going to have to backdoor bet to Colin because I just don't think that the 49ers, based on who they've got coaching, who they've got playing, and the schedule that is going to be in front of them, I don't think last place is a possibility. I don't think it's an option. I know that if it were to happen, the heads would roll around here. So I don't think it's going to happen. I think that is just Colin trying to be a hot take artist, declaring the Arizona Cardinals the last place team in the West doesn't make headlines, but saying that you think it could be the 49ers would. So I think that that's kind of nonsense and preposterous based on who this team still is. And, the one last thing to tell you about before I take you outside and give you a little look at what's going on inside of Levi Stadium and all the construction that's out there. I'm going to have to put the sunglasses back on. I didn't want to do the actual video in the sunglasses because there's only two types of people who wear their sunglasses indoors, the blind and assholes. So we take these off to show you the respect. God, where was I going? I totally forgot what I was talking about there. But yeah. Colin Cowherd and this team being last place, I just think that that's preposterous. Oh, here's what I wanted to talk about. When Robert Salah was asked about what he needs to fix on this defense, he talked about how he understood the situation the defense got put in through injuries. And, some empathy actually is what he's extending. And he felt bad as he was watching film about the situation that the 49ers were in. And look, nobody in this league feels bad for anybody. There's no doubt about that. There is zero mercy. There is no sympathy given to any situation that develops for any team in football. But Salah really thought, as he was making the decision to return to the 49ers, it's not like he is starting from scratch with a defense that doesn't know how. He's getting a reboosted defense with young, talented players everywhere at all levels that he's going to be looking at to coach through. And he's going to be handed a better deck of cards than what they were actually playing with last season. And I don't think that that's just like preseason whistling happiness bullshit. I agree with that. I really do. Damon, Corey Hart, I only recognize you with glasses. Yeah, seriously, I'm looking at myself. I don't even recognize them. What are these, bags under my eyes? This is 50, folks. This is what it looks like. All right, you know what? I am going to put on the sunglasses because I'm going to take you outside because it's not too long from now that I got to hop in my car and drive an hour back to San Francisco with 101 traffic. But let me thank my good friend and sponsor, Ike of Ike Sandwiches. I tell you, the 49ers dropped off some Chick-fil-A for everyone in the media. Very nice of them to do that. Ike's would have been an even better choice. Check out Ike's Catering. Make sure you sign up for the Love Rewards program and start eating your way towards free sandwiches as quickly as you can. Thanks to everyone at the Dubliner for sponsoring the Damon Bruce Show and Damon Bruce Plus as well. I don't know where you're going to watch a little Warriors playoff basketball tonight, but the Dubliner would be a great place to catch that. By the way, you can catch me post-game. I will be doing post-game with Kruger and Cyrus after. I'm sure others will join that party as well. But I'll be doing some post-game around Game 2 of the Western Conference semifinals that the Warriors find themselves tonight back at Target Center, looking to go up 2-0 on the Timberwolves with no Steph Curry in tow. So that is going to be interesting, to say the least. And make sure you download Campsite Tonight, the new app that is going to help you find the perfect camp spot, an available camp spot, starting in the state of California. It's going to be expanding, but this is my neighbor who came up with a great new business, and I really want to help him. So just download the app, Campsite Tonight. Go campsitetonight.app, download that app, and check it out. He's just looking to build a list of people who've actually downloaded it. So you can help me out, and we can be a cool little community by helping my neighbor out, and that's how it all fits together, and that's how it all works. And there you go. So, all right, bang, bang, Niner gang. We're going to put on the shades because we're going to go outside into a very sunny, hot Levi Stadium that doesn't look like it did the last time you took a look at it. All right, here we go. We're going to take a little walk together. I'm down here in the big boy club. This is where the money comes to watch football. Actually, I'm going to go this way, that way. Looks a little closed down. Let me go this way. Last time I took you on a tour, it was the Japanese hotel room, and I showed you the Japanese toilet. There's no fancy toilets down here. But if you really think about it, Levi Stadium is just kind of a fancy toilet. Sorry. I got to take my shots. You know me. So here we are outside. And let me just flip this camera around so you can see what I'm looking at. This entire stadium's playing surface is dug up, and there is a massive, massive amount of construction being laid down. Looks like they're putting new irrigation in under the stadium. As you can see up here, we have a growing scoreboard. That is a reframed scoreboard. New LED screens going up. It's going to be bigger than ever. I know that they're doing an awful lot of construction in the luxury box, so people who spend luxury box money can have an even better experience. Again, an awful lot of scoreboard construction underway. This is what happens when you get this year's coming Super Bowl. This is what happens when you know the World Cup is coming. Huge construction down here at Levi Stadium. Look, you can see this guy all the way up on the Pepsi thing. Look at him up there on his crane. That guy's far away. That guy's up high. There you go. It's like a cool circular scoreboard add-on thing that, I don't know, would look really good at a Pink Floyd show. So there you go, kids. Damon actually came down to Levi Stadium. I did that for you. I did that for you. I'm not coming back down here tomorrow. I could never be a beat reporter, running around, jock sniffing, chasing quotes. No, thank you. What I do want to do is hang out with you, though. What I do want to do is kick it with you guys as often as possible. So I'll be back tonight. Thank you very much for hanging out today. Thanks for being a part of this as always. And please do remember, sports don't build character. They reveal it. And like that, Levi Stadium, he is gone.